I said, hey, you too. Truckers and trucker ladies worldwide. What's the business? It's your boy, your manager Royals, the often imitated, never duplicated, the one and only Enrique Prince, also known as Prince the Trucker. And we are back with another video here on the channel for y'all to enjoy. Per usual, before we go any further, I have to take a second and thank each and every one of you, my OG day ones, the new subscribers here, and the future ones as well. You know what I'm saying? As I always tell y'all, my satisfaction is your interaction, and just to see you guys and gals out there helping the channel grow by supporting the content, hitting that like button, hitting that hype button, engaging in the comment section. It's just everything, man. So per usual, thank you all so much, and it doesn't go unappreciated. We're on the way to 4K, so again, make sure you do smack that subscribe button. Even if you've been watching and you ain't hit it, go ahead and hit it, man. It's free. You dig what I'm saying? Pause. Anyhow, today we're going to be talking about the winter season, truckers. Yes, the winter season is upon us. I see it, and I was laid back today, and I said, you know, there's a lot of people that are going to be hitting the road for the first time, so it'll be a great time to make a video and have a real conversation about it. So yeah, winter season, OTR trucking. Let's get into it. You dig? YouTube, welcome back to the channel. Once again, Prince the Trucker here, and I'm coming at y'all live from the cab of the rig. You dig? Today is November 16th. It is 4 p.m. year 2025. I'm coming at y'all from a TA in New Mexico, and I am headed to Tennessee with a load of produce that is going to be due on the 18th at 5:30 in the morning. So I drove 10 hours today, finally parked, went and got me something to eat, freshly showered, and I thought I'd make a video on the topic at hand, which is winter driving. You know what I'm saying? Winter driving, for those of you that may be experiencing it for the first time. You know what I mean? Again, there's a lot of people in the comments that let me know that they're just getting out of CDL school and they'll be starting their journey either at the very beginning of the year in January, which is still considered winter months, right? Or maybe you're about to start your journey the next couple weeks. So I'm sure you've done all the research on this particular topic, but I just wanted to have a real conversation with you myself about the importance of doing certain things in the winter, because it can be intimidating. You know, I remember my first winter on the road. It's like gladiator school, you know what I mean? That's how I look at it. Driving your first winter season is like gladiator school, because what it forces you to do is take all the basics you know about trucking, what you've learned in school. Maybe if you got a little time under your belt, you started in the summer, and this is your first winter. It makes you take all the things that you know and amplify them by 10, you know? So that's why I call it gladiator season, because it's nothing to be fearful of, but you definitely have to be smart. And you have to know what to do and what not to do. And that's what we're going to talk about today. But before we get into that, I just got to show y'all this. You know what's crazy? This is off topic. I love when I go to a truck stop, and y'all know how it is. Sometimes we don't have the best selection of food. You know, it's Taco Bell or Pizza Hut or Popeyes or whatever. Today I was near a grocery store, and they actually had like some home cooked joint, you know what I mean, with the fried chicken and breast and thigh with the mashed potatoes and the mac and cheese. Look, I don't know if y'all can see that, but for the $7.99 though, you know what I mean? You go to these fast food joints, they want $16 for a Big Mac meal, and that's a medium. You dig what I'm saying? So after this video, we gonna eat good, but I just had to say that. You know what I mean? Let's get into it.
All right, trucker. So, as I was saying, if this is your first winter season driving over the road, listen up and keep this in mind. Okay. Um, First of all, no load is worth your life. I'm gonna say that one more time. No load is worth your life. Okay. If you're with a company or if you're in a situation where they're pressing you in this winter season, and treating it like it's the summertime and they just want you to barrel down the road and you got to make the time, and that's not a good situation because, again, as I stated, this is a new season. This is gladiator school right here. They know better than that. And like I said, it's not something you should fear if you handle it the right way. Because the reality is this: that snow, that ice, and that wind, none of those elements care if you're a new trucker, right? They don't know the difference. The elements are going to do what they do. But with the right habits, the right mindset, you can stay safe, stay warm because it's going to get cold, trust me, and keep earning money, and returning home safely. That's the goal at all times. All right, so company drivers, if you are in the situation where, again, you're about to get into your truck, uh, you're outfitting it with everything, putting all the stuff in your truck from home or the car or whatever, and again, you're about to head out onto these interstates for the first time, in the winter season. The first thing that you need to do is make sure that you're prepared with the right things in your truck, right? Um, of course, that's your personal items, but I'm speaking more along the lines of before you take that truck off the yard. Most likely you're going to have on-site mechanics, right? That there's things you can ask them to put on the truck to make sure that you're in habitable conditions, right? You can live on the truck. So you want to prepare your truck for the winter season. And you want to make sure that you have fresh windshield wiper blades, okay? That's the first thing that you want to do because this is what you're going to be looking out of as you're driving down the road. So before you take that truck and you're looking at it, you want to make sure that it has a fresh pair of operating, brand new wiper blades. And if you can, I would ask them for an extra pair to put in your side baggage or side storage. Me personally, I just put a brand new pair um, on my truck, and I got the Platinum Series joints. Whenever I need something, I tell them to send me an EFS code, and I don't just get the regular rinky dinky, windshield wiper blades. I get the ones with the dual blade system on there. I get the top notch. So just make sure you got some fresh wiper blades and an extra set if possible, because those cold temperatures will start testing the integrity of all of the outside things and the inside things underneath the hood, such as the hoses and the wirings and um, your windshield wipers, the plastic that's on them, all of those things. You want to make sure that your batteries are fresh. Before you leave that terminal, you want to have the on-site mechanics check the voltage of the batteries and making sure that your truck is being properly energized. You're not having any electrical loss or electrical issues with your battery system, because um, the cold, freezing weather is going to drain your batteries a lot faster if they're not integrous, right? Um, you want to inspect your airlines underneath the hood the best that you can for leaks. You want to make sure you're not leaking any air or any fluids, because, again, rubber and a lot of those plastic counterparts are going to contract under the cold weather. When it's hot, those things expand. But in freezing temperatures, anything below 35 degrees, they're going to start contracting, which means they're more susceptible to um, hairline fractures or separating at the component from the head where there's a connector. These are the things you want to keep in mind as far as temperature wise and the integrity of your equipment. So make sure you don't have any leaking airlines. Um, you definitely want to have some extra bottles of coolant on you in your side storage, right? Um, yeah, coolant is very important, even in freezing temperatures. You want to make sure that your heater is operating in the truck. You'd be surprised how many people don't have heat in their trucks. Um, and that's something that they have to deal with. You're going to be out there, and depending on the region you're running, at negative degree temperatures, uh, maybe even, in the single digits. Ain't nobody got time for that. Make sure your heater, your bunk heater, your front heater, and your defrost are in operating condition. They should have no problem taking care of these things for you. And you also want to make sure that the condition of your tires and your trailer before you roll off that lot are in brand new condition. You see what I'm saying? You don't want no semi-balding tires and all. You need to make sure that your tires are optimized to grip the road as much as possible. All right. So that has to deal with pretty much the truck. When it comes to like first aid or things that you might need, you definitely want to have warm blankets in your truck, right? I'm thinking about going to Walmart and getting a heavy duty sleeping bag because the blankets are cool, but I want something that I could wrap up in and zip up, you dig? So I'm probably gonna go get me a warm sleeping bag. You definitely want to have some all-weather gloves on you. You're gonna be hopping in and out the truck like normal. You're gonna be fueling, and again, you're gonna be pulling latches and closing and opening doors. And last thing you want to do is have cold hands. Trust me, that is like one of the worst things ever. I have some Carhartt heavy duty gloves, the ones they wear in the warehouses and stuff like that. So I'm good to go. But get you some good extra gloves. You want to have hand warmers on deck. If you can do that, place them in your side baggage. Have them somewhere where they're accessible. Hand warmers are a good idea in the wintertime. You don't have to have like a whole warehouse full of them, but you want to have a couple on hand just in case, because you never know. Obviously, you want to have a source of food and water accessible on the truck. Some people, they have snow shovels. I don't have one. I'm not going to lie to you. But a shovel might be a good idea if you have the space or the capacity. Again, I've never really had the use for one, but I'm just kind of putting that out there that could be something that might help you. Um, a shovel of some sort. Um, this one kind of goes without saying because you have to have them on the truck anyway, uh, and that's the tire chains. Now, I'm gonna say this: I've never had to chain up my tires since I've been an over-the-road truck driver. And some people might go, "What? You never had to chain up? Like, what the heck is that?" But one thing I was taught in my first company was, if you got to chain up, you shouldn't be driving. And that company was very safety orientated. And I actually kind of agree with that. If you're an owner operator or something like that, you're doing your thing, you got your hustle down packed, you want to get out there and go the extra mile, that's totally fine. But if I got to chain up my tires to drive, I'm pulling over. That's just me though. But you should be aware of how to chain your tires if necessary, because there's going to be certain routes, certain states that require you chain up if you go into a certain area. So you definitely got to know your routes as well too if you start to see inclement weather. And it's okay if you don't know initially. When you do get a load, all you have to do is talk to your dispatcher and ask them while you're planning a trip, do you know if there's a route that can take me that I don't have to chain up, or is this route at some point am I going to have to chain up? Communicate. If you don't know, there's nothing wrong with that. Um, Fortunately, the way that I've planned my trips and just the way it goes down, again, I've never had to chain up, or if it gets too bad anyway, I just pull over and the weather usually clears up by then. So, um, and then the last thing a lot of people would suggest, and I've never had to do this either personally, but they'll tell you to carry diesel anti-freezing gel that you can add into your tanks that will assist in making sure that your fuel doesn't freeze up in the lines. Because again, if you're like between 35 and 20 degrees, wherever you're going to be at, not really a threat of freezing as long as you keep that fuel moving through your lines most of the time. But once you start hitting single digits and maybe into the negatives, yeah, that's a realistic possibility for you. So, make sure you got a warm blanket, a pair of gloves, a set of extra ones if you can manage it, some hand warmers, food and water, uh, a shovel of some sort if you got the extra space. Obviously, you're gonna have the chains, and if you want to go the extra mile just to make sure you don't freeze gel or fuel in your lines, the diesel anti-gel. You know what I'm saying? All right, truckers, and just to add to, the importance of your diesel, and we're on that topic really quick. Your diesel is going to be very important. You need to understand how that's integral in the winter months. And if you're going to add that anti-gel solution that we were speaking of a second ago, you want to make sure that you add it before you get into the conditions of freezing temperatures, right? That way the solution has time to run through the lines and acclimate itself, and protect your system before you even get into that type of scenario. You don't want to allow your fuel to thicken up in those temperatures before adding that solution. So make sure you add that anti-freezing gel before you get into those conditions, and you should be okay. And the second thing about respecting the diesel, because that's your liquid gold out here in the winter months, right? It's literally liquid gold, is to keep your fuel tanks topped off as much as you can handle it, right? I know certain companies, they don't want you overdoing the fuel and all that. I don't know. My situations have never been like that, but I know there's some out there that are. They don't want you to fuel up unless it's at certain times. But if you can help it, especially in this winter season, listen, I wouldn't let my tanks go down below half. You know, some people, they end up putting themselves in situations simply because there was a fuel network um, that they could have fueled at, and they didn't want to get out the truck and be cold, so they kept going. And there's not another um, truck stop that your company is partnered with to fuel, and now they're stuck on the side of the road. That's the worst situation you can be in the winter season, because again, it's very unpredictable. And the last thing you want to do is not have fuel, not have heat um, in the middle of nowhere. You dig what I'm saying? So keep your tanks topped off as much as you can. Um, Another crucial aspect to having your tanks topped off is the fact that when you have fuller tanks, um, you're burning more heat essentially, right? Because if you understand volume compared to circumference, when you have a full tank, it's burning more, right? But if you get down to a low volume within your tanks, you're essentially running off of what? Fumes. And you don't want that. You want more fuel than fumes. You dig what I'm saying? So trust me, I've had a couple scares where I was in certain places, I didn't really have a lot of fuel, and it's that's when you're like, holy crap. So don't put yourself in that situation. Don't be lazy. If you're driving and you notice you're about half a tank and you have the opportunity to top off your fuel with that liquid gold, with that diesel, I would do it. All right, truckers. So this next one right here that we're gonna talk about is very, very important for you to grasp this concept right here. All right. This is your time to establish who you are as a trucker to your company. Because again, remember, these people know what time it is. When you're in the summer and it's free reign and you ain't got no excuses and you just gotta deal with the bare minimum, cool. But when you get into the winter months, they know exactly what time it is. That's when you prove yourself to be the asset um, that you are. And it's really important you understand this concept. Again, there's nothing to be fearful of. You just have to be smart. This is probably the biggest thing that I'm going to share with you. Slow down, like Bobby Valentino. Slow down, right? And do not be afraid to park. Straight like that. If you're a new trucker coming into your first winter season, listen to me and listen to me clearly. Slow down and do not be afraid to park. I think I made a video when I first started this channel and it was titled Respect the Conditions or Else. All you gotta do is go on the channel and look at that video. I think I was, because I came in with this company in the winter season. It's about to be a year here in like another week. So I'm telling you, that will save your life and the life of people around you. Slow down and do not be afraid to park. The first rule of thumb when driving in the winter over the road is to respect the weather. You have to respect Mother Nature, bro. I don't care how much money you want to make. I don't care, what impression you're trying to exude to the company, and none of that matters. It's your safety and respecting the road and its elements. Remember, you're not in a race with anybody. This isn't NASCAR. You're not trying to get to the finish line first. Remember I told you, if you're gonna establish a rapport and communication, a strong relationship with your company about you standing on your morals and principles, and it's not just about the money, but arriving alive and safe, this is the time to do it. You're not in a race with anybody. If you're with a good company, dispatch will actually prefer that you're late rather than be in a ditch. Because like I said, there's going to be companies that are on both sides of the scale. You're going to have ones that pressure you and put that pressure on you to just get there because they don't care about your safety. And like I said, if you're in a situation like that, that's bad to begin with. And I would explore other options. But the ones that care about their CSA score and the lives of their drivers or their truckers and the people around them, they will tell you, hey, no problem. As long as you keep them updated and they have GPSs on these trucks. They can look up what area you're in and the weather conditions. A lot of the times they'll know before you. So keep that in mind. Respect the weather. Don't let nobody push you into a situation for some money. Um, to highlight that, right? To go further in that point is to trust your instincts. You're the professional driver or trucker, right? You've got to trust your own instincts, especially if this is your first winter. That's how I did it. Do not push yourself beyond the limits of what you can do. Now, I'm not saying ball up in a corner and be crying and not make an effort, right? But this is where you develop the mental sharpness and understanding what can be done and when it's time to just let it be. If you're driving and you can't see past your hood and all you see is white on the asphalt and to your right and to your left, and park the truck. If you see black ice on the asphalt and you start to feel your truck behaving in ways that you're not used to, and it's sliding a little this way and sliding a little that way, park the truck. If your gut tells you, hey, I'm learning here, I'm taking myself through gladiator school, but I can't do anymore. I'm not gonna risk my life. Trust your gut. Park that truck. Any real veteran trucker, like myself and anybody else who wants to tell you the truth and give you the game, you know how they survive? They survive by knowing when not to drive. I'm gonna say that one more time. Veteran truckers know how to survive by knowing when not to drive. It's not about impressing the next person. It's about knowing the conditions you're in, knowing the limits of your skill set, and understanding that Mother Nature is going to do what she has to do. I don't care how mad the broker gets, how mad the dispatch gets. They're not the ones in the seat. You are. So always remember that. You dig? All right, truckers. Now, I know this video is probably going to stretch out a little longer than normal, but that's okay. You know, this is useful information going into this whole winter season that I feel like can be very valuable, especially if you're at a novice level and you're just curious and unexperienced. Like, you need to know these things. So if any of these things that Prince the Trucker is talking about is bringing value to you, again, make sure you hit that like button, share it with another future trucker or somebody who's going through the process, because it's our job to educate. Even when we think it's minute, it can mean the world to somebody else. So I hope that is what we're doing here, is just giving you information that you can use and dwell upon. But another important thing, right, is learning how to master your braking in the winter season and the behavior of your truck. You know, when you're dealing with snow, water, and ice, you always want to remember, and this is why you got to be patient. This is the season of patience. You don't want to make any sudden moves, you know, especially when you're getting into the freezing temperature aspects of it. You know, when you're driving down the road and you see water coming up behind your tires, or water coming up behind other cars that are passing you, that is probably the best sign that you can see that you have grip on the asphalt, right? But if it's shiny outside, it's winter cold, and someone's passing you, or you're looking in your rearview mirror and you don't see water coming up, and you're in those freezing temperatures, you and I both know what that means. You're treading on thin ice, literally. You know what I'm saying? And the colder it gets and the more moisture that happens to be in the area, the thicker that ice is going to be. So keep in mind, you don't want to make any sudden movements in this 18 wheeler. You want to take things slow. If you lane change, make sure you signal ahead of time. Take it nice and slow. You don't want to be jerking into lanes and uh, making any sudden moves, you know. Learn how to gently brake your truck, you know. Um, no hard braking when it comes down to being in wet situations, icy situations, and freezing temperature situations, because you know how it is, right? When you have something of this much weight moving at a certain momentum and then you just apply the brakes, you know, all of a sudden now you're stopping that momentum, and if you don't have any grip, you're at the mercy of wherever that momentum is taking you. So no sudden movements, no hard braking. You don't want to be changing lanes all fast, and you don't want to be accelerating quick either. You know, you want to take things nice and slow. You want to maintain your safety bubble around your rig, and be vigilant at all times. Another important aspect to that is increasing your following conditions and this season. You know, you want to make sure that you're at least a good 10 seconds behind the vehicles in front of you, um, so that if they brake hard or something happens, you'll be at a distance to where you can compensate without the same action. You won't have to brake hard. You'll be at a distance to where you can recognize what's going on in front of you and give yourself the best chance of leaving an out for yourself. You don't want to be tailgating. You don't want to be quick to frustration and have road rage and put yourself in a situation that you can't get out of. So you definitely want to make sure you're increasing your following distance as well and maintaining your bubble in this season. Um, and you also have to keep in mind that that applies even more when you're talking about downgrades, right? If you've got 60,000 pounds to 80,000 pounds on you and you're going down a 4% to 6% grade, that 10 seconds realistically should become 20 to 30 seconds away from what's in front of you. Because again, now you're building even more momentum going downhill. And yeah, you just want to be aware of that, okay? Um, and we kind of tapped on this already, but you want to avoid the black ice. You know, if you see glaze like them Krispy Kreme donuts, if you see glaze on the side of the roads or on the road in front of you, that's definitely a sign of black ice, especially if you wake up early in the morning, the sun is starting to rise, and it was raining all night. But as you begin your journey, you see that water is not coming up from your tires or um, on the asphalt itself. It's just smooth. That's a red flag because as we both know, right? Temperatures are usually coldest in the earliest hours of the day. So, you know, identifying black ice and what those conditions look like at the beginning of your driving shift, early morning, are going to be very important and crucial to you understanding those things we just talked about. How far you should be away from somebody, your reaction time, maintaining your bubble, and most importantly, if you should even be driving in the first place. All right, we're getting to the end, truckers. I promise. We're getting to the end. Uh, it's getting pretty dark out here too. That's how long we've been working on this video. But at the end of the day, right? Speaking on what we were just talking about when it comes to increasing your following distance and braking properly, um, your Jake brake, aka your engine brake. You want to understand the use of that as well, right? You want to be able to know when to use it and when not to use it. Okay. Because again, remember, the engine brake is meant to do just that. Reverse the RPMs of the engine. And a lot of times, if you're out there and you use your engine brake, you know, you use it at the highest level, it'll literally change the momentum um, of your rig, depending on what level you put it on. So the only times you really want to use that is when the roads are more dry, right? You never want to use them in black ice conditions. Again, creating that momentum shift and change in behavior in your rig. And you could even use it on light snow. You know what I'm saying? When it's very light and you have some kind of friction because of the water and the rubber with the tires. You can use it in those instances as well. You do not want to use your engine brake or your Jake brake on ice under any condition, per what we just spoke about. You never want to use your engine brake on those steep, slick downgrades that we were just talking about. That's probably the worst time to use your Jake brake. And of course, in freezing rain, right, which is pretty much leading up to the black ice situation. Again, these are all important factors that you should understand when it comes to the behavior of how you brake and your Jake brake. Your drive tires have the potential to lock instantly if you do these things the wrong way, braking hard or using your Jake brake in the inappropriate situation. And again, that'll change the whole behavior and momentum of your ship. So just be aware of that. All right, truckers. So just a few more points I'm gonna make, and then I'm gonna let y'all get up out of here. You know what I'm saying? If you made it to this point in the video, that means you really want to know what's going on with this winter season and how it can affect you in trucking. And I don't knock you, because you need to know everything you can when it comes to this gladiator season, right? So these might be a few things that you really didn't think about going into this particular chapter. And of course, we just spoke about it, black ice. You want to be aware of black ice. Ice is going to form a lot sooner on bridges and overpasses. So keep that in mind. If you're going over a bridge or an overpass, and you'll even see the signs on the side of the highway that tell you ice may form quicker on bridges. You want to definitely keep that in mind. You also want to consider, and it's going to happen, there's going to be times where you just got to go through states like Wyoming. Wyoming is really bad. That I-80, no joke, okay? So Nebraska is another one. A lot of those states where it's a lot of wide open farmland, you're going to see a lot of blowing snow in states like that. It's going to be slanted. You see what I'm saying? It's so much wide open space, so much wind passing through those areas. You just want to have extra vigilance when traveling through places like that. When you're going through mountain passes, you have to understand that there's so much different behavior when it comes to the wind and the rain and the snow. It might be clear in one area, and then when you bend the corner, it might be heavy in another area, and it can change literally every 5 minutes. So that's why being vigilant is very, very important. Parking. This is probably something, and maybe you did think about it, but the parking is crazy in the winter season, because you will have a lot of people that understand what we're talking about. They travel smart. So while you're traveling, you have to understand that the potential for parking shortages during storms and heavy inclement weather areas are going to be doubled than what they are now. Because wherever you turn off or wherever you try to seek refuge, there's going to be a lot of drivers that were probably ahead of you in that thought process. You know what I mean? So keep that in mind as well. Parking is definitely going to be something that you have to think about during storms and inclement weather, and that you have to plan for. And finally, again, maintaining the condition of your truck when it comes to the airlines. Keep your truck running as much as possible. Keep fuel pumping through the lines on your truck. The colder it gets, the more you want to have your truck running. You know what I'm saying? Again, temperatures are going to change. So the biggest thing you want to do, the same way you want to stay warm, you want to keep your truck warm. You want to love your truck the same way you love yourself, because the truck is going to take care of you through this season, and you're going to take care of your truck. It's a love relationship when it comes down to that. You dig what I'm saying? All right, truckers. To be honest with you, there's probably a lot more that I can cover when it comes to the things you could do in the winter season. But this has been a very long video, and I just wanted to do my best to address the situation when it comes to the winter season, because I remember what it was like when I was in that position, not knowing what was ahead of me. Like I said, it is something that you have to be aware of. It can be very intimidating, but it's not something you should fear, because when you're doing all the right things, you put yourself in the best position to really show that you're a professional trucker. To really take your life in your own hands and protect the people around you and still make your money. And even if it doesn't seem like it up front, when you tell the truth, because trucking is a culture, when you communicate yourself properly to your dispatch about what matters, it might not seem like it, but it breeds a certain respect, because whether you're a trucker of the past, you're a current trucker, or a trucker of the future, they know that these are the things, the commandments of the industry, right? These are the things that we value. These are our morals and principles. And a lot of the times they will try to manipulate your mindset and your skill set to benefit them. And we don't want that. We always want to represent what's right. We want to do what's right. We want to stay within our limits. We want to learn as much as we can without making excuses. And we just want to become the best trucker and provider that we could be in our own lives. And that comes with the knowledge, the willingness to learn, and knowing your limits. You dig what I'm saying? So just remember, yes, the winter season is going to test you, right? And it's not about being fearless. It's not about proving anything to anybody. It's about being prepared. It's about being smart. And it's about being patient. You don't get respect in trucking by being the first to the finish line. You really earn your respect by staying safe, keeping people around you safe, and making it home to your family. You do understand that though, right? With that being said, YouTube truckers, I hope you enjoyed this in-depth real conversation about the winter season. If any of this had any value to you, again, please make sure you hit that like button to support the content. Press that hype button so it can get out to more truckers who seek the information. And let me know your thoughts and comments down in the comment section below, because like I always tell you, your interaction is my satisfaction. And I just want to help at the end of the day. I want to do my part in being a content creator and also someone who is within the trucking culture that can formulate this information and spark the idea of doing the right thing, even when you think nobody understands where you're coming from, because we've all been there. Only difference is what we share with each other, the willingness to be authentic and to grow from that. All right, so once again, it's the often imitated, never duplicated, the one and only Enrique Prince, often known as Prince the Trucker. I really appreciate y'all. I'm about to get to that mac and cheese, that thigh, that breast, those mashed potatoes, and that dinner roll. You dig what I'm saying? I'm gonna catch y'all in the next one. Peace.